Good afternoon, Tobago. Good afternoon to those who might join this live from beyond Tobago. I am now wrapping up my day at work, and just before leaving, I am just checking through the news stream and seeing that a sensational headline has people misconstruing a very simple message that I gave at Diwali. And I wish to give the message again so that everyone will be very clear as to my message and to not miss the message. I recognize that as a people that we are very resistant to taking responsibility. It's okay when we take responsibility, as in the government or the Tobago House of Assembly, but we are resistant to taking responsibility generally. And so a sensational headline that is meant to deliberately misconstrue a message that was given will cause people to consider this matter of crime differently. Sometime this morning I saw a headline about Farley giving a tongue lashing to mothers concerning crime. I posted on my Facebook page, after sharing the post from the Office of the Chief Secretary, the full message as was given for Diwali. Saturday evening, the Hindu community in Tobago, they celebrated Diwali in anticipation of next week, and I was invited there. In fact, at that celebration, we also honored Mr. Orville London, who in 2014 gave the land to the Hindu community for them to build a mandir, and the construction is actually well on the way up at Signal Hill, just around Camp Signal Hill. And so in my message, I did some research which was quite interesting about what Diwali means and what this celebration is centered around. And many of you are unaware that this Diwali celebration is centered around the return of Prince Rama, who was banished. And the story goes that this prince was banished because his stepmother was granted 2 wishes by his father, her husband, and wish number 1 was to banish Prince Rama for 14 years, and the wish number 2 was to make her son, Prince Rama's younger son, or younger sibling, the king. So Prince Rama was banished for 14 years, but eventually he returned triumphantly, and eventually he got the crown that was rightfully his. And so this concept of light over darkness is a concept about the fact that darkness only exists when there is an absence of light. When there is an absence of light, that's when darkness exists. And so in that context, I said to the Tobago community, I was present at the Gulf City Mall, that look, the darkness we are experiencing now with crime is because there is an absence of light. Because sometimes we are guilty of shutting the door on light and allowing darkness to reign supreme. But once light shows up, darkness must go. And so in that context, I said, mothers, if you suspect and you know that your sons are dealing in illicit businesses and that their illicit activities are providing gains for which you are benefiting from, mothers, you have a responsibility to shine some light on that and dispel that darkness. I spoke to parents in general. I said, parents, do you remember that at one time, if you took home a copybook from school, a pencil that did not belong to you, that your parents would beat you, you get a good flogging? And I asked, I said, Tobagonians, where are those days? How do we move from a state where we could not carry home a copybook that did not belong to us without the rebuke of our parents, to today being okay for parents to enjoy the benefits of ill-gotten gains? I spoke to churches, and in particular I spoke to the Hindu community, who is now building out their mandir, and I said, look, when this temple is finished, Don't lock up inside the temple and not go out and do social activities. Churches, and we had other churches present to celebrate with the Hindu community. I said, churches, I said, you can't just lock up in your church and expect that there be change. You have to go out. You have to ensure you infect and affect your community churches. So essentially, it's a speech about all of us taking responsibility. Nowhere in that speech did I say that mothers are to be blamed for all the crime and all the violence on the island of Tobago or in the country. I placed a full speech there so that you can go and take a listen to the entire speech. Of course, fathers have a responsibility to play as well. Of course, older siblings and aunts and uncles and auntie and nenes have a responsibility to play. But please, don't make a general statement I did not make. I did not say that mothers are the only ones to be blamed for high levels of criminality in the country. That was not the statement I made. I'm very certain that was not said. And I know my political opponents are salivating at the mouth. They're hoping that, in fact, I'm saying mothers are the ones responsible for all the crime and all the violence on the island. I did not say that. But I did say that mothers who know that their sons are involved in criminal activities, that you have a responsibility to not allow darkness to reign supreme, but to ensure that light is shone. So even as we prepare for Diwali, which is coming up next week Thursday, I'm saying to you that really and truly, darkness only reigns when light is absent. And light has been absent for a while because as an island community, there are some things that we are doing that is symptomatic of allowing darkness to reign supreme. We all have to take responsibility. I will not be the politician that will sit here and only lay blame at the feet of others. I'm saying we are all responsible. And perhaps you might be a Christian like me, but you might be interested to go and do some research on the Diwali story. Read up on what happened with Prince Rama and the return after the 14 years in exile, and look at the family dynamics there. But remember that darkness only reigns, and darkness will only win over light when light is absent, because light and darkness cannot coexist in the same space. They can't coexist in the same space. So once we are seeing elements of darkness and darkness thriving, it means that we, the collective, are perhaps responsible for the absence of light. And sometimes for light to be present, it requires that we take hard decisions. I have a good friend who is a pastor. He goes by the name Rolex Johnson, and he will always say to me, and he will say it in several meetings in the community of Speyside, that in our society, relationship is stronger than righteousness. And by that he means that we value our relationship with each other more than we value what is right over what is wrong. And if as a society we are to get a hold of the criminal elements that's happening, it requires that righteousness be stronger than relationship. So please go and take a listen to the entire speech. Don't get carried away by those chomping at the bits, salivating at their mouths, misconstruing the message. The entire speech in its original format was posted on my wall, as it was on the Office of the Chief Secretary's page. Go and listen to the entire thing in context, and you will hear quite clearly that several elements of the society got some admonition from the Chief Secretary about how we ought to dispel darkness by ensuring that we let our light shine. So, and I'll just end by giving you this example. I see some of the dark minds and the dark mouths and the dark fingers that have been typing all over Facebook all day, in on the live today, and I'm so happy that you're here, because you being in the presence here, you really can't shine. Darkness can't outshine light. There's no room for you here when there is light. So you go and look at the entire speech, and don't be carried away by a sensational headline. CNC3 and Guardian Media in general, they are known for sensational headlines. So the truth is, this morning when I saw it very early, I paid it no attention, because I said, I just stoops and continue with my day, because I know that they are noted for very sensational headlines. What was sensational was said in the parliament a week ago, and I see that he is acting as Prime Minister effective today. So that's where our attention as a country should be at. That was certainly wrong. That certainly needed rebuke. But I'm saying to you, go look at what the facts are, listen to this speech, and for mothers who are here actually listening, and if you by chance suspect that you have a son or even a daughter involved in criminal activity, I know it might be hard because you might be a single parent and the father might be absent, and that's another part of the equation that we have to have some conversations about. Men, especially for those of us that consider ourselves as black men, our absence is part of the reason why darkness is reigning over light. But mothers, if you suspect, do something about it. Fathers, do something about it. Community, churches, let's leave the walls of our churches and let's do something about it. All our social institutions have to act. And yes, it's one thing for us to blame the government, blame the Minister of National Security, and I'll be first to say that they're not doing a very good job, but I'm saying we all have a responsibility. We all have a responsibility to ensure that light reigns supreme over darkness. So I wanted to just share that with you. Now you have the facts, and you don't have to just take my word for it. Go and listen to this speech in its entirety, so that it's not taken out of context, it's not going to be misconstrued, and you're not running away with a sensational headline. And I know many people have not even read the article even. I can tell you, I did not even read the article. I just saw a headline on Instagram early this morning. But I'm saying, every one of us, we have a responsibility. Every one of us. And the family is the first social institution. Therefore, the family has the most significant responsibility to bear in this matter, whether we like it or not. The family has the most important responsibility in this matter. And so, let's all take care of our responsibility. Now you have some clarity. I wish you God's blessings. Please be safe out there. Be safe on the roads. I want to, extend my condolences to the family members, the parents especially of those 3 young ladies. That is so sad, extremely sad. And of course, as a THA, however we can help in this very dark time in your family's life, we will certainly like to help. But please stay safe. Please, please, please stay as safe as you can. All right? God's richest blessings, and be safe throughout the week ahead. I know most of you are busy all week. I know most of you are enjoying the festivities on the island. Just be safe. But it takes all of us. All of us. All right? Have a good one, everyone. All right? Blessings.